you criticize anything I say, you're both sexist and racist. I may not know the first thing about running the country, but remember, that's a good thing if you're a deep state puppet. I had 4 years under the tutelage of the ultimate deep state puppet, a wonderful mentor, Joe Biden. Joe taught me rule number 1, carefully hide your total incompetence. I take insignificant things and I discuss them as if they're significant. And I believe that exploring the significance of the insignificant is in itself significant.
Sometimes the university sends us a message. Late last Sunday night, I'm stitching in an urgent extra fix into my manuscript for my bestseller on the 11 Lessons of Elon. It comes out in January, you guys, and it's up on Amazon now. But anyway, so I have this one chapter, Free Speech is Everything, and I'm stitching in this update because a federal judge in California has just issued an injunction against this new law that Governor Newsom just signed that would ban parodies. Cut to the next morning. I'm on television, I think it's News Nation, and one of the other guests on screen with me is the guy who filed the lawsuit I was writing about last night. His name is Chris Kohls. He is at Mr. Reagan on YouTube and Twitter, and he joins us now. Chris, thanks so much for coming on What's Bugging Me. You are an American hero for standing up for free speech rights. And of course, in this case, you're also standing up for your livelihood because you actually do this for a living. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. I have a YouTube channel and I've been doing it for a long time. I do a lot of analysis, political analysis, but I also do a lot of comedy videos, parody videos. And in fact, the first video that I made that was really a big hit was a parody of the Gillette ad. I don't even remember that Gillette ad where they're basically like, men, you are horrible, you can do better, toxic masculinity. And so I did a parody of that, and that kind of went semi-viral, and that kind of made my channel happen. Then I did this video called The Brains Behind AOC, where I exposed AOC as something of I would say, an actress, to use a metaphor. And she wasn't really, I didn't think, controlling her own congressional seat. It seemed to be, she was a bit of a puppet. Produced that kind of went viral. And then, my show kind of became something of a hit. But the parody videos were always integral. And then when I did this one, because I used a little AI, because Elon Musk retweeted it, because Gavin Newsom doesn't like Elon Musk, and because it was effective, yeah, I got targeted pretty hardcore by the left.
Yeah, Governor Newsom came out and called out your video in particular and played big man and said, I'm going to sign this law. And they already had that law, as I read from the lawsuit. They already had that in the books and it was getting passed and it was kind of just sitting there waiting. And then suddenly he elevates it. Now, so this wasn't just blocking you from having fun. You actually are able to make a living doing these things, a direct threat to your livelihood. But there's just so much that's at stake that's bigger, and that is the freedom of speech. And we are the country that all but invented it. And now you've got Newsom and Kamala Harris and Tim Walz and John Kerry and AOC and Robert Reich and even the New York Times and the New Yorker coming out and questioning the right to free speech. I mean, do you realize how big this is? And what happens next in your case where the judge issued an injunction, but it is only temporary against 2 of the 3 new laws that Governor Newsom just signed?
Yeah, I believe it was called a preliminary injunction, but I don't think it's going to be challenged. So I'm not a lawyer. I don't exactly know how this goes. My lawyer, Ted Frank, I think he's a genius, this guy. He's brilliant. He contacted me somewhat expecting this law to be passed. And he said, look, if they do pass this law, do we want to file a lawsuit against them? And I said, heck yes, we do. Because as you say, yeah, I definitely recognize the impact of this. Like, clearly, this was targeted at, specifically at my video, specifically at, those who might use AI to target Kamala Harris, maybe in support of Trump, something like that. Because I don't really know why this is happening, because for decades, the left seems to have been better at creating art, creating comedy to attack the right. But now with memes and with, X and with the internet, conservatives seem to be better at targeting the left. And, there's this stereotype right now, the left can't meme. And it's absolutely true. They don't seem to have a sense of humor. They don't seem to be able to do anything comedic. All the late night shows have just become political engines and have just died off. The comedy has died. So we're the only ones making jokes at the moment. And it's kind of weird that he would target parody. I mean, I'm not completely against sensible laws to govern AI if you've got this situation where it's genuinely fooling people. But the video I made wasn't fooling anyone. This was obviously not intended to deceive anybody. It was meant as a joke. Everybody knew it was meant as a joke. Everybody understood that it was AI. It was not deceptive. And so to me, it just looked like election interference. It looked like Gavin Newsom was targeting conservatives and trying to protect Kamala Harris from, I just think, an effective comedy video.
Absolutely. It's like when you take up for the nerdy kid in class that everyone's making fun of. I mean, one wonders if Newsom would have been nearly as upset if Elon Musk had not reposted your parody, if he just left it alone. What do you think? How much was that Musk factor?
You know what well, the Musk factor is huge, obviously. I think there's 3 factors there. There's the fact that the video itself is very effective. It's a funny video. There's the fact that Elon Musk retweeted it. And then there's the fact that it used AI. And Elon Musk, I don't even think he thought about this. He didn't write parody in the caption as I did. I don't think Elon Musk did that intentionally. He just thought, oh, this is a funny video, and reposted it.
And obviously a parody. Yeah.
Obviously a parody, obviously. But that was the perfect storm, I think, that to create this whole situation. But yeah, look, it's to me, this is obviously political. That's what the whole thing boils down to. And you're absolutely right. To me, the worst one was John Kerry. I don't know if you remember this, what he said specifically,
yes.
But John Kerry actually came out and specifically said, we need to basically abolish the First Amendment so that we can control your speech. To me, that was the most shocking thing that I've heard from any of them. And he's not like a lightweight. John Kerry is a significant player in DC politics.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, I actually have an op-ed running in the Washington Examiner on this, on free speech, and on this Democrat crackdown. It's as if they all got the memo at the same time. This is orchestrated. And here we see it take shape as an actual law. This is no longer just rhetoric. Now they've passed 3 laws in California, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who grew up as Sandy in suburban New York, she says, oh yeah, I've been talking with other congressmen and we want to figure out what we can do about this. Now, none of this would be happening if you, I think, had done a parody lampooning conservatives and Trump. Trump is great for parody. My gosh, look at all the things that run about Trump. But the Trump fans seem to enjoy it. After they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats in the debate, this liberal guy puts up this auto-tune song, eating the dogs, don't eat the cats. And he meant for it to attack Trump. And the Trump fans loved it so much and reposted so much. The guy said, oh my gosh, and he took that sucker down. And Trump fans are having a heck of a lot more fun than the other side. That's for sure. But I also think that they came after you because the parody was so good. If it had just been juvenile, stupid, cringy, they wouldn't have said a word, but it was brutally effective.
Yeah, and look, Elon Musk wouldn't have retweeted it had it not been effective. And here's why it was effective. This is the kind of the crazy thing that nobody really thinks about. Even though it was Kamala Harris's voice in AI, so it wasn't actually her words, and I was just writing a script to make her say something she didn't say, what I did in the video, and the reason it was so effective, is because I essentially told the truth, right? I said a lot of things that Kamala Harris would never say in real life, but we all recognize are true. Yes, she is a diversity hire. We know that because Joe Biden said very specifically, I'm going to bring in a woman as vice president. He didn't say I'm going to bring in the best person for... Yes, specifically black woman. He didn't say I'm going to bring in the best person for the job. He said, I'm going to bring in a woman. So we know she's a DEI hire. That's not a secret. The fact that she's incompetent on the border, that was obvious. And, I think you made a really key observation, which is that if I had made this video against Donald Trump and for Kamala Harris, there is no way in heck Gavin Newsom would ever have signed such a bill. And that's how you know 100% this is totally partisan.
You can listen to complete episodes of What's Bugging Me with Dennis Neal by subscribing on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.